Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Nighttime for another live Wicked Horror Show. I'm Kevin, and I'm not joined by anyone this week. I'm just kidding. I am. I'm joined by a bunch of jerks. But Tony's not here this week. Angel's not here this week. So it's just me fending for myself, surrounded by jerks. So here's all the jerks. So Jill and Brandon. We have Josh, who's driving, and he shouldn't be. We have Dolby. Welcome back, Dolby. It's been a while. And Jessica. And we may be joined by someone else coming up soon, right?
Yeah, our DP Chris should be joining us at some point.
Okay. And we're getting a little bit of an echo. I'm not sure from who, but I'm just pointing it out. So Aphasia, we've had you guys on a couple times for the movie. You guys have been working on it for a couple of years. It's finally going to be coming out. So.
Sorry, we're trying to figure out where the echo is.
No, it wasn't you. It's not Jessica. It's not. Oh, I think it's Dolby.
I have an echo?
Yeah, there's an echo. I think it's when we're talking, we can hear ourselves echo back. Sorry. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. What was your question? I got to focus on the.
It's finally done, and it's going to be coming out next year, early next year. So this has been something you guys have been working on for quite a while. So how excited are you guys for this? First off, I've been lucky enough to check it out as well, and I really dug it a lot. So I'm excited for you guys as well. And in another time, it would be cool to go to the premiere. But we're supposed to have a bad winter this winter. Oh, we'll see. It's not until February, so who knows? But yeah, so we'll start off with Jill and Brandon. How are you guys now that this is finally done? But it's not really, I guess, right? Because you still have to promote it until February, and I'm sure you guys have other irons in the fire as well, or maybe not. If not, that's okay if you don't need to, if you can't talk about them. But how are you guys? Are you guys excited for the premiere? Are you excited for are you happy with how everything came out?
I mean, I'm stoked for it to finally be done, at least on the production side. No offense to everyone. It took 3 years. We started this as like a literal do or die situation of like mid-pandemic when we even like started it. And we finally were able to get it all together and get it done. I'm just happy to have it done. And yeah, it's nonstop because with this being done shooting and editing, now, like you said, promoting's coming into it. And then other things that we have lined up. Like we do have a couple other projects down the pipeline that we're not going to fully talk about just yet. Mm-hmm. But with Aphasia, I mean, yeah, I'm just happy that it's out of the editing hand and now going into other people to see what they think and be able to put it out into the world. I'm going to stop talking. You tell them what you think.
I mean, I'm excited. It's been really fun to live in the Aphasia universe for so long. Like we had 3 years of filming, and then it's been about a year of Brandon editing. So it's time to move on. Like we're antsy and excited for other things, but we learned so much through this process that I'm really excited to see where we bring that into the next and what we come up with next.
Nice.
I'm already tired.
You're already tired?
Yeah, I'm already tired. I'm already ready.
And besides the premiere and everything, are you guys planning on doing like physical releases for like fans of physical media? Or are you going to release it streaming, or what's the plan?
I would love to do physical media. That's gonna we had a couple I guess I can say we had a couple of distribution people reach out So I'm hoping to be able to talk with them after February and kind of see what we can do. But we've submitted it to a couple festivals already, and there's a couple more that we plan to do it. I personally want a VHS release. I would love to do a limited VHS for this because I think it'll be a great like big box kind of style thing, like an old school kind of rental thing. But yeah, I would love to see it hit an actual physical shelf, not just streaming. I would like to avoid streaming and kind of go old school with it.
Yeah.
But now that Best Buy released that they're no longer going to be selling,
I know, right?
movies,
Sad.
that kind of
Sad.
real
Like
fucked up.
your best bet is like Walmart, and like they carry things for a very short amount of time, and they'll either send them back to you or just throw them in the bargain bin, and then that's it. Then it's just like,
Yeah.
okay, now where is it? I've been able to find some really cool movies in the bargain bin, like movies.
Yeah. Oh, I love the bargain bin. I
Hard
do
to
not
find.
argue a bargain bin.
hard to find, and actually going for quite a bit of money. I've been able to find for like a couple bucks in the bargain bin. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm all about it. And stuff that should not be in there. Like, you guys ever seen the movie Found?
No, I have not actually.
So Found it's pretty brutal. It's pretty it's pretty graphic, and it was right in there with all these kids movies and stuff like that. Like, very independent, very, very graphic. It's a great movie though, and it's really good.
It's very uncomfortable to watch, though.
It is, yeah. Towards the end, it's very uncomfortable. Lots of uncomfortable moments between siblings and parents, and you get where I'm going. So, to change that subject, so Jessica, how do you feel? Have you been able to see the movie yourself?
No,
What?
no,
It's blasphemous. How have I seen it and you haven't?
I know. No, I'm excited. I want to see it, at the premiere.
Yeah.
It was a long process, and it's been so long since we wrapped that like it'll feel like watching something new altogether.
Nice. Yeah. Do you want to can you go a little bit into your character, so that way, so people know a little bit about who you are in the movie?
Sure. Sarah is the main character. She loses her job at the beginning, and that's like the kickoff for all the stuff that happens. She goes down a dark hole of a failed suicide attempt, and from there we get some demonic possession and lots of craziness happening, and Sarah wondering if she's losing her mind, but not being able to, know what's real and what's just in her head. And so that's kind of the driving force of all the crazy stuff that then goes on in the film.
Yeah. And kind of because of that, not kind of, because of that, we're introduced to Josh's character and Dolby's character, which are both awesome characters. So Josh, now that you're not driving, you want to talk a little bit about your character, which was also awesome. I really enjoyed like all of the characters, like the story and everything. I enjoyed it quite a bit. So yeah, you want to go a little bit into your character?
Oh, of course. Thank you. So my character is Father John. Basically I won't say a disgruntled ex-priest, but I'm more of a lost my mind, and when it basically comes back, something that happens 20 years ago resurfaces in my mind, and it brings it all back. And that's when I try to fight a demon, basically. Jess's character.
Yeah. And then Dolby comes into town, and it gets awesome. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was awesome before that, but it's a different kind of awesome. It's a different character. You killed it, Dolby. It was great. Yeah. You want to talk a little bit about your character?
My character is Ryder. He's heavily inspired by the character of Dale Cooper from Twin Peaks. His love of coffee, his recording of basically an audio diary, and he's more of the humor of the movie to give it a little bit more light in it, to make it a little bit more playful, a little bit more fun. Some Bruce Campbell, a little bit of Kurt Russell, even though I say I was kind of more inspired by Nicolas Cage with the guy. And he's just there. He's not taking it very seriously. And you know, hijinks still ensue. And for the record, I know the character was inspired by Dale Cooper, but I never watched Twin Peaks until now, so no one can say I ripped that character off in my performance.
There you go. Nice. I've never seen Twin Peaks either. I don't know. I'm sorry.
I'll forgive you. I'll let it go.
There's too many things. There's too many things. Like I just said, I haven't watched Scream. I do a podcast with a lady that was in Scream, and I have never seen Scream.
Okay, fair.
Yeah. That's going to be one of the episodes, is that they're going to make me watch Scream, and then I'm going to have to pretend like I like it. I'm just kidding. Sergio's in the chat room. He wants to say hi to everyone. What's up, Serge?
Hey, Sergio.
And yeah, so I'm pretty psyched for you guys. It came out pretty great. I'm excited. And again, I hope there's going to be physical copies and stuff. And is there any kind of special features that you already have planned if there is physical copies? Like, is there like behind the scenes or like bloopery kind of stuff? Because I can't imagine. There was a couple of scenes, like specifically scenes where Dolby is like kind of whispering into Jessica's ear, and I'm like, I would have lost it a few times, I'm sure. I don't know if that happened, but I would have. And what were you whispering, if anything? I don't know if that's all something that shouldn't be said. Should we laugh?
Oh, that's fine. There's definitely a lot of bloopers of just dumb things that happened. A lot of it was with Chris and Brandon. The first thing that comes to mind is when Jess and Josh are in the park and they were trying to get birds to come and attack.
Yeah.
And they were setting up bread everywhere, and they just, the dumb shit that these two come up with that we have to try to figure out how to work around them while they're having their antics, and just a lot of blood things that happened and dumb shit that happened with them. There's definitely a lot of bloopers, but also in the very beginning, I kept trying to record Brandon every day. I had a game where I would start the day and be like, okay, what are we going to shoot today? And then at the end of the day, it was, okay, what did we actually do and how did it go? And that lasted, I think, 3 days. And then we got really tired. And
there's some like production diary stuff. There is a lot of like behind the scenes stuff that is cut. So like
a lot of the makeup process.
We did a featurette like to show, like, spoiler alert, there's a hanging in the movie. So we did like this little featurette of what we went through to like do the hanging process. Because in our previous movies, I want to say, Jess, is this our third time trying to hang you or second time?
You're muted.
I think it's the second.
Probably the second. I think it was just Mother in this.
Yeah, we shot a short film with Jess a few years back called Mother, and that was supposed to have a hanging scene, and we weren't able to
do it like in the trailer too. We had to try to figure it out because we did a trailer first, and then the film.
So that's going to be like going forward, and whenever you work together, that's going to have to be, even if it has nothing to do with the story. At some point,
the whole hanging day was like, oh, we're finally doing this. Like, we're going to hang Jess. Like, it's going to happen finally.
Well, that's been always something enjoyable with everyone that we work with. Is Jess is always such a great sport of whatever we put her up to, and Brandon writes this stuff. Jess and I question how it's going to happen, and then he figures it out. So even most recently, the project that is coming up next is he wanted to have a coffin. And I'm like, yeah, sure, great. We'll have a coffin. And all of a sudden now there's a 7-foot coffin in our studio, and he just finds a way. So he found a way to hang Jess, and he will find his way.
Yeah.
With everything he does.
How'd this happen? You're like, don't ask questions. And
I don't know.
Basically. So my lifeline's not here, who was Chris. There was one scene in particular where there's a therapy scene where Sarah was talking with her therapist, and we didn't have a sofa on the set, so we were shooting in this little like kind of studio place itself. It rents out a bunch of things, and they didn't have a couch, so Chris and I searched the entire building trying to find something, and we found a couch in the garbage that was just like in the loading dock. So we come up with this giant sofa, we clean it up, and we shoot the scene. We had to do reshoots maybe 2-3 months later. And lo and behold, the couch is still there in the garbage. So we were able to get the sofa again and reshoot everything. But yeah, like as far as like behind the scenes stuff, there's a lot of that just goofy stuff. At one point, Jess was a southern demon. That was a lot of fun.
That was the day we lost our minds. You were southern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's so many.
Did that accent so well.
Yeah.
Is that on film?
It's on film. Yeah.
I spent a lot of the time just recording things as they went on quietly. Because we were, we're low budget, so we have a lot of cast and crew that comes and goes every day. So we never had anyone dedicated to behind the scenes. So it was kind of whenever you had a free second, just pull out your phone and just start recording whatever anyone was up to. And I caught Jess being Southern, and a lot of things progressed from there. And yeah, it was great. We had a lot of fun. Yeah.
It sounds it. Yeah. So Josh and Dolby, have either of you been able to see the movie? No,
not yet.
Sorry,
No one has.
the Lord's name in vain. I know the movie. You're not supposed to do that.
Quick question. Can I echo off now?
It's not.
Son of a. Okay, hold on.
That's okay. So is there have you had the option to, and you want to wait for the premiere? Like Josh?
So, as far as my knowledge, we haven't had the option. Wait, no, they asked us, but I think we agreed pretty much that we didn't want to see it until the premiere.
Okay.
And that was just for the fresh mind factor. After we're done shooting it, like Jess said, it's kind of out of the mind. And now when it all comes together, it's like,
and then now you can all experience that at the same time together. So that's good. I like that.
Because I think when we first finished cutting it, me, Jill, and Chris, our DP, all sat down and watched the first director's cut. We watched the entire thing, and we invited some people out, and the three of us watched it, and we made our final list from there of what to tweak. And after that list is when you got it, Kevin. And yeah, I think out of everyone in the room, I don't even think Jill's seen the final cut yet. After I was done with
watched
it.
it so many times, I get the idea at this point. I'm tired.
Yeah. I know how it goes. I was there.
Yeah.
We did it so many times. I'm like, all right, I got the gist. There's a demon. I'm tired. We're good. Yeah, it was fun.
I was with the Frank in the chat. I was gonna say hi to Frank.
Hi,
Oh yeah.
Frank.
I was gonna say.
Hey, Frank.
I always try to look for the right times to add that.
I just looked over. I was like, "Oh, Frank's here. Hey, Frank."
So I don't know. I don't know what to do next. I mean, because you guys haven't seen it. Are there any scenes that you guys remember filming that you're curious to see how it actually came out? I'll start with Dolby because I didn't get to ask him the question.
One is my echo finally fixed.
It's not. That's okay. No. You can just answer the question. It's fine.
What I'm actually interested in seeing is the scene where I'm fighting those. Can I say the demons? That scene. Okay, you have the mini demons, because that was a really fun day of getting smacked around, getting thrown around. I just wish we had a prop table there, because I so would have jumped and demolished that table by being attacked by demons, because that would have been so cool. But everything else, and that was such a fun slapstick moment, very one of my favorite movies being Evil Dead 2, very reminiscent of that, and just even just remembering back to it was such a fun day. So I'm very excited to see how that looks.
Nice.
And also,
Well, it came out awesome.
coffee shop scene, when I'm twirling a coffee cup in my hand and trying to figure out if the coffee's good enough.
That also came out. That's one of the first things when you're with the coffee cup, and I was like, is he going to really drink out of that chipped cup? I was afraid you're going to cut yourself.
Who among us?
What was that?
Who among us hasn't chipped or cut our lip on a chipped coffee mug at a diner before? Happens to the best of us all the time.
I haven't lived. Sergio's asking where Tony is. He had a family thing going on this week, Serge, so he couldn't be on. And Angel's also got a family thing going on this week, so he couldn't be on. So what about Josh? Is there any scenes that you're waiting to see how it actually came, or any scenes that you maybe don't even remember? Like I think it went this way, but I'm not sure, or just anything you're just looking forward to checking out.
Definitely. I know that there are scenes that I'm gonna grab some water real quick.
That's okay.
Sounding like Jess in the movie. So, much better. So the scene that I look forward to seeing the most is, I can't go into detail of it, but the final like showdown scene, because it's like that. First off, it was a very just fun day. Like it was a lot of joking, a lot of laughing. But when the cameras cut on and it got serious, and the way that the yelling and the back and forth was, it was so intense. And I just want to know how that really played through on camera, because we were laughing the whole day.
Nice. I can imagine. Yeah, I would be not a pleasant person to be around on set, because I would just be ruining every shot. I would just be laughing at everything. Now, what about you, Jess? Is there any specific scene that you're curious about?
I agree with Josh. I think that the ending, I definitely want to see that. There's also scenes that like I wasn't there for filming that I think would be cool to see just from knowing what happens in the script. And then there's just other scenes that I know I'm going to see and be like laughing to myself because I know what was going on behind the scenes, and like wondering if it appears like it's cold when it was 95 degrees and we were filming in the park and stuff like that. So
I do have to say,
the ending is probably what I really want to see, though.
Yeah, I was actually, it popped into my head actually, because I was like, wait a minute, she was a little bundled up in the park, and then it was later on you were in the kitchen, and there was an air conditioner in the window. So I was like,
oh, damn, I didn't catch that.
Yeah,
no,
I
That's
literally,
what happens when you shoot the thing over 3 years.
Second time I saw it, and I didn't notice it the first time, and that's the whatever. I'm sorry, guys. I ruined it.
No, that's fine.
Oh, I never thought about that, actually.
We like I said, we had a small crew. We didn't have a full on like.
We also shot it over 3
We shot it
years,
for
so
3
I mean, we picked the worst times just by timing of like the day when all the kids are in the park was the hottest day of the summer, and we almost killed all the children.
Yeah,
and Jess is in long sleeves the whole time, and
it was funny that day too. Like speaking of those production diaries, we got on set at like 7 a.m. and Joel was, I'm trying to drink coffee in the car, and Joel has the fucking camera in my eye, asking what we're shooting and explaining like, oh, we're shooting this outdoor scene. And then when we cut to later that day, I go from my pale ass to bright lobster red because got mad sunburn that day because it was blaring hot, and everyone got, I think, like heat delusional because
we had to send a PA away because she was having a heat stroke.
Yeah, one of our PAs was like getting overheated, and then one of our actresses, Drea, who plays Jackie in the film. She had a scene and she came on to help out, and she was running behind the scenes camera, and she decided to film a nature documentary of the people in the park, the hipsters in the park, that she was just zooming in on people's faces, sounding like Steve Irwin.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just pointing out how hipster they are. Like this one's driving a unicycle, and this one is
basically,
Nice. Is that going to be special features? Hope.
Oh, definitely. That's cut. Yeah, I have so many things that are cut.
Yeah. The heat ain't nothing to mess with. There was I went to a concert years ago, and I got sun poisoning and heat stroke like in the same day. I was a mess. It was worth it. It was a great show. And I have no hair, so like when I burn, I'm bright red, and I can like touch my head and then move my hand. It's like a white handprint, and it just fades into red. It's pretty awesome. It's not. It's embarrassing, but yeah. So I had an idea. I had a thought in my head of the next question, and I totally lost it. I am the worst.
Talk
amongst yourselves.
Well, Brandon, what's one of your favorite scenes in the movie?
Okay,
how about that?
Yeah, how about that? Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think one of my favorite scenes, and a lot of my favorite scenes, are between Josh and Mark. There's this Mark who plays Father Bruce, the other priest that's helping out in the beginning before Ryder comes in. There's this great scene. Josh and Jess convince Mark's character to perform an exorcism to kind of help her in the beginning, and he's humoring our characters, like, "Oh yeah, sure, this is what's happening," and they see that the threat is real. And there's a scene after that where they're in the diner talking, and Father Bruce has a meltdown because he can't fully comprehend what is actually going on. And that was like one of my favorite things. And like him freaking out and Josh's determination really just like set a really good tone. And like it was just a great moment of like, oh, this is real. Like that was like one of my favorite moments. And there's also a scene that I really liked because it gave me a reaction while we shot it, and an even worse reaction when I was cutting it. Was there's this scene where nails are being dragged across the wall.
As soon as you said it, that it affected you, I was like, it's the nails. I know it.
Oh yeah,
it affected me as well. It affected me as well. I don't like messing with fingernails for whatever reason.
When we shot it on the sound effect was the actual sound effect of everything scraping, and it was just amplified in post. But that was one because like it looked great, it sounded great, and like.
You mean just as finger painting day?
Yeah, just as finger painting day. But also like a lot of the lighting was practical. So like we gelled everything. So like we hung lights from the ceilings of that set, which was like my old childhood bedroom, and like we nailed lights to the set and we gelled everything. So like all the lighting that you will see in this movie is all practical and just like slightly enhanced in post, like with some color correction, but we did everything practical. And like that's some of my favorite bits to see is just seeing how well it transferred.
Nice. Do you have one, Jill?
I think one of my favorites is probably also a diner scene when there's a moment in time when we have almost every main character overlapping for the only time that I think everyone interacts, where we have Sarah and Jackie sitting at a table at the diner, and then Father Bruce and Father John are fighting, and the way that we had to coordinate them walking past each other and seeing each other and just moving through all the characters to get the idea of understanding space. And we had a lot of extras that day, and it was just another one of those weird locations. Like I couldn't believe we actually got a diner and we're actually there.
Oh yeah, we fit in 2 makeup gags there.
Yeah,
we had the waitress gag and the hand gag.
Mm-hmm. But I think like I always love when like one of my favorite things is whenever Josh is yelling. Like it's just something about his acting when he's yelling is always just really entertaining for me. Just his passion that he can bring out. So we are working, we're following the scene, everything is fine. And then it's just when he's done screaming and he's getting kicked out of the diner, all of the extras were just completely silent. No one knew what to do. They didn't. It was almost like they didn't realize like if he was acting. Like they thought they were fighting, and like they started clapping for him. And it was like this moment where like, oh yeah, this is like he is acting. This is the thing. But he's so passionate when he's working that it's really fun to like get involved with them and have all of our actors overlap in the space was really. And we were, I mean, I think that was the day we hadn't slept in 3 days. Like I was falling asleep in the booth. Like, I mean, it was one of my favorite scenes, but it was also a favorite scene because there was so much that went into it of having so many extras there, so many of our main cast members there, and then falling asleep in the booth in between takes because they're exhausted.
It was up for like 3 days straight because of we shot overnight at this diner.
And we worked at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Worked at 4 o'clock that morning at the day job, then went back to the diner and shot overnight again. And one last bit, and then we can move on to someone else because I feel like I'm talking a lot.
Yeah, you are.
But there was one bit that I really loved, and no one else has seen it except for you, Kev, and maybe Jill. But there's a scene where it's after Dolby fights the little guys that we talked about earlier. And Jess and Josh, they're just going at it in the bed. Jess is screaming. Josh is screaming. Ryder comes in, and he delivers this line so perfectly. And he just goes to Josh like, "So how's it going?"
Yes, yeah. That was great. It was great.
The delivery, and then Josh's response is like, "It's going." Like that. Just that exchange was. It was magnificent. I fucking loved it.
Yeah, no, it was definitely gives a little smile. You know, he was definitely. There's a few moments in there that I think were meant to be humorous, like besides stuff with Dolby's character, but like he definitely like amped it up a bit. It was good. But yeah, sorry, you unmuted yourself, Dolby. What were you gonna say?
The one thing I'm really excited to see is there's a shot, and the thing is I can't remember where it was, but Brandon and Chris, the madmen that they are, they found a way to get actually like above the bed and like do this like great angle for it. And I'm so excited if it actually made the cut. But that shot of just looking like down at the bed. I don't know. It just seems like it was such a cool idea and everything that I just really want to see that shot specifically, just to see it like how it actually officially looks canonically, because it was just thinking about it is so cool. Just the creativity of the madness behind shooting a film and Brandon's like eagerness to just do the most crazy things to get a shot. Like I remember the one time Jill had to tell Brandon, "No, you're not sitting on the front of the car to get Ryder driving." So I'm just really excited to see all the cool angles that Brandon and Chris put together, because there were like obviously I couldn't really see them as they were being filmed, but just seeing them do it was just like made me go, I can't wait to see what these angles look like, and because that's just really cool.
Nice. Yeah, and I was going to ask actually about some of the actual like where things took place, so the diner and stuff like that. So how were you able to get these places, and like was it very, with some of these places, like the diner looked like a real place, so it's were they easy to film in, or was it difficult?
The diner was a real functioning diner. It was
It's our neighborhood diner.
It was a neighborhood diner, and like my family grew up with the family that owned it, so it was just all connections in that regard. That like I literally just went in there and went up to Penny, who owned it, and was like, "Oh, hey, like we're shooting this movie. Like, are we allowed to come in when you guys close and shoot overnight?" She's like, "Yeah, here are the keys. Just tell me when you're coming. You can just come and unlock the door." Nice. And we named our riding waitress was actually named after the main waitress who would serve us there, Betsy. And like we named a character after her in connection to that place.
We got really lucky with Brandon's just odd luck of finding locations like the diner actually working out. And I think my favorite was actually getting basically an abandoned church. One of our art department friends, we were talking about it one day as casual. We were like, "Oh yeah, we need to shoot a church scene," and Brandon and I had met with a few churches, and they were not comfortable with letting us shoot there. It was just, I tried to phrase it as nicely as I could without telling them what the movie was about. I was like, well, it's a coming of age, and a girl's going through a hard time and a priest helps her. So I thought maybe they would let us shoot, and they didn't. But a friend of ours, it just happened to be that there was a preschool like nursery in the basement, and then they had the entire church upstairs that was never used. So just really weird locations that we could never get that weird luck again. A lot of it was shot in Brandon's childhood bedroom that we just took over and painted purple. And
I was going to say, his bedroom was purple as a kid.
Yeah, he could have. But
well, it was better than the beat up sheetrock that was once there.
We made it pretty. But
we had a painting party.
And his parents were unbelievable with letting us live and take over their house for 3 years of using the bedroom for all of that, and using Brandon's uncle's house for all the kitchen scenes. Like we just got really lucky with people letting us take over to use practical locations.
Yeah. I was wondering about the church, especially because I was like, how did they first off find a church that would let them do this? And then like, not to mention like Jessica like lays on, like, I don't want to, I'm just like, they're okay with that. Like,
we can say she lays upon the altar. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the churches that we met with, if they did call us back, they were not interested very quickly, just from the name of Hearing Jerks. We didn't even show them the logo. They pretty much wrote us off almost immediately. So this was a wild situation of a church space that was no longer a church. So there was there was less of religious affiliation to insult.
Yeah. The original plan was to have it in the very beginning, the cold open of that church. That was going to be the original intent to shoot inside of that church. Mm-hmm. And when I called the Archdiocese of Philadelphia, because that was the church that like I was baptized in. That was like my childhood church. And a fun fact, it's right across the street from the playground scene. It's all like really close by. But I called them and I wanted to shoot in there, and they said, so you can't shoot in here. One, it's it's basically on the abandoned list, and it's scheduled to be like knocked down at some point, but it's deemed unsafe for humans. So if you go in there, like, you guys are going to fall through the floors, something bad is going to happen. And then after that, I went to Catholic grade school, and I went to that church. And when we met with those guys, they're like, yeah, so we don't really rent it out to people anymore because we tried being nice and letting a group of kids come in and film something, and it turned out to be a porno. So we couldn't shoot there because someone messed it up for everyone and shot a porno in the church.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I was going to say they have a set of balls on them, but we already
Yeah.
know.
I laughed really hard when he told us that. I couldn't help
That's
it.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
That, yeah, we didn't get that location.
So I do have the trailer. It's the premiere trailer because it's going to be premiering in February. For people that are in the Philadelphia area, is it in Philly or is it?
Yep.
Okay.
It's in Philly. Where we're screening it at is Philomoka, and that area was one of the big influences for David Lynch to shoot Eraserhead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Anyways, but I'm going to play the trailer. Here we go. It's about 2 minutes, 25 seconds, and we'll be right back.
I felt myself leaving my body. No thoughts, no words, just silence. I couldn't even hear the ceiling fan spinning.
The demon came to me in my dreams last night, and either it was a warning or a reminder that it's coming.
How many drinks have you had?
I always thought things would end up differently, you know?
How so?
Like I wouldn't be back in this shitty time capsule of a neighborhood because I failed at killing myself.
The dark figures, the voices, I know you've heard them, seen them. They're warning you or preparing you.
Preparing me for what?
Something is coming. Something big.
I know who you are. You got it. Perfect track record so far.
Hey, Jackie. You wanna stay at my place tonight, like old times?
The dream really freaked you out, huh?
Yeah.
There you go. That's that, everyone. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, it looks awesome. I mean, obviously, I mean, what I mean by looks, I mean like the quality of the video. I already know it's awesome because I've seen it twice. Sorry, I didn't mean to rub it in everyone's face.
I think, what was your favorite scene then?
For me, to be honest with you, and it's nothing against everyone else. It was a different animal when Dolby came to play. It was a different animal. So it was it's like the snarkiness of him, I think, changed it a little bit. I mean, I have zero issue with anyone's acting. Like, I thought it was all great. I thought the story was great, but it had a different vibe. So, I mean, as far as a favorite scene, I would probably, I mean, maybe not a favorite scene, but like you mentioned, like when he walked in the room, it was like, you know, what does he say? Like, hey, what's up? Or hey, how's it going?
Yeah, it was like, how's it going?
Yeah. I mean, legit, like chuckle, which doesn't happen very often. But I mean, I really like the I mean, I know it's a low budget movie, so the fact that you guys are trying to do like the miniature part of it, you know what I mean? I respect that. So I like that scene a lot too, because I'm like, all right, they're swinging for the fences right here. This is awesome, because a lot of people wouldn't even attempt, So there's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah, the mentality was it's our first feature, and when we went into our first feature, we wanted to make sure that we had everyone on board that we could count on, and that we loved working with and who we worked with in the past, and we got to make it as outlandish as possible because it's the first one. You got to go above and beyond and crazy. So we're gonna have tiny demons. We're not great at green screen stuff, but we're gonna shoot some green screen stuff. We're gonna try it.
It didn't look bad. It didn't look bad. I mean, I've definitely seen like pretty bad in some higher budget movies. I mean, not for nothing, Dolby, but if you're a fan of Evil Dead and the Army of Darkness like I am, Army of Darkness, those effects don't hold up. They do not. So I love the movie like it's a child of mine. I don't have kids, so I don't know. But yeah, the effects in that movie are just not great. So there's something you said for that. So the fact that you went through and did that and it doesn't look bad at all, that says something,
that makes me very, very happy because I know we were paranoid just about it. It was our first time shooting 4K, and it's first time and no offense, everyone getting their mugs blown up so big and see every orifice of that.
I want to say orifice.
You mean I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of the word he's thinking. It's not orifice. It's like every
crevice and nook and cranny.
There you go. How about that? Yeah, nook and cranny. Yeah.
I just like orifice. It's a fun word.
Yeah.
It's not an adult movie.
No, it's not.
It's a fun word though.
Yeah, it is.
You see, I get my face bashed in with a Bible, so there's extra holes in my face. So there we go.
That's true. Those are facts.
Yeah, and I mean, that was a fun game of having I think, all of us are in it. You're in it, I'm in it, Chris is in the scene. Everyone on the crew also ended up being in the cast as well, whether intended or not. So.
And vice versa, because we had Jess was doing Slate every chance that she could.
Yeah.
And we had everyone in different positions as we could, rotating chairs.
Yeah.
Nice. So, I mean, I know because the show's going to wrap up in a little bit more than 15 minutes. So I definitely want to talk a little bit more to Josh and Jessica, and we've talked a little bit to Dolby. But as far as Josh and Jessica, we've had Jessica on before, I believe. I don't think we've had Josh on. Did we have you on before?
I feel like I was on once, but maybe a year ago.
Maybe, I don't know. So this is their first feature. Is this you guys act outside of Herks Productions? I'm assuming.
Yes.
Right. Now, have you guys have you guys done many features yourself? Have you been part of many features yourself?
Jess, you can go first.
A few. This wasn't my first, but I wouldn't say a ton. I feel like I've done a lot more short films.
Yeah. How do you think? I mean, I'm not your experience. I know it took 3 years to make. Is that how it normally goes for independent filmmaking? I know there's some independent filmmakers that they'll shoot a movie in a weekend, but you can tell, So this one looks great, and it flows very nicely, and lots of good choices were made. So, in your general opinion,
I mean, in my experience, it's been different. I've worked on feature films that are rushed to get done and never get finished, and then I've worked on ones that, over the course of a long time, it still doesn't get finished. I've always had fun working with these guys, so it kind of makes you want to come back to set. So they were also really accommodating to everyone's schedules. So although it was over the course of 3 years, that was because they were kind of saying, all right, we can only get everyone together these days. So that kind of helps when you got other stuff going on. It's kind of hit or miss on different sets what you're gonna get. Overall, it was 3 years, but it was always a fun time on set. And that 3 years, I think I don't remember all the stuff we filmed like year one, but it'll be fun to watch it and see it all come together.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure I'm going to go and I'm just going to ruin it for everyone. And be like, this is what happens next. This is what happens next. You know, I'm good for that. So Josh, what about yourself? Many features for you or?
So for me, not that many features. I've worked on a couple, but they never got once they got finished production, they never got released.
Oh, really?
And
that's so sad. Like
yeah.
It's people put so much work into it. I mean, there's people I know that have made movies with like some pretty big names in them and stuff too, and they've never gotten released. And it's like, oof, that is rough. You know, how much did you spend making this thing and it's going nowhere? It stinks. But
it was it was a little bit disheartening because I feel like I did a lot of work. And we all did.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, because I'm on the shorter side of like actors for the most part, and my character had to be 6 foot. So I was like on top of a box that they had me, and I always had to be up there, and they had to get like different angles of me. I'm just, they can make you look tall, which is pretty cool.
Interesting. Tall shoes, you say. All right. So Dolby, we've had you on a bunch, but I know you've been in a bunch of other shorts and stuff too. What about features? Have you done many features?
Well, I was in X Night as X Night, and I'm in as an extra. This was before I met everyone here, but one of my first things I did was I was an extra in Shakespeare's S Storm, if you know that movie.
Oh, really?
And that was made in 2018. Even though I heard people like it. And recently I was an extra in a movie called Dream Devil, which stars John Turturro's brother. So that was pretty cool. But outside of that, not really. I've mostly been focusing on acting classes and things like that, really getting that craft just perfected.
Nice.
Over everything else.
Nice.
And maybe just some extra work here and there, but outside of that.
Well, it's more than I've done, so that's something to be said. And I'm very happy for you that you were in Shakespeare's Shitstorm, because I really want to see that. So I'll be like, hey, I know that guy in the background. I don't know. I've tried out to be an extra and I've never been accepted. What does that tell you?
Oh wow.
I'm not good enough to be an extra.
It's not as fun as you think.
Still, I'm willing to do it for nothing. You know?
You can be an extra with us anytime.
Sounds good. I'm a trauma guy though. I love trauma.
We do too.
Yep. I tried out to be an extra for all female Ghostbusters, which is I still think is better than people are giving it credit for. And
it's good.
Right? And they were filming a bunch of stuff in my area, and I would like send in stuff and just never heard back. I put in to be an extra for the new Good Burger movie, because that was filmed in Rhode Island, right down the street, like 45 minutes away. But they did like that last season of Dexter was like very close, and like everything was like been around here for some reason. I'm assuming just tax credits, but whatever. They don't want me. I get it. Dolby disconnected. Now he's back. I don't know what happened. You disconnected and then you came back, and he didn't even have to add you. That was crazy. Dolby's doing his own. Yeah. So on that, yes, we have about 10 minutes left. Does anyone have anything besides this awesome movie, Aphasia, which is going to be coming out in February, and you can buy your tickets now? And where do they go to buy those tickets?
So it will go through Philomoka's website. You go to philomoka.com, and it'll be under their event page. From there, it'll go to a third-party site, which is like Dice, it's called, which is it's like an all-digital platform for tickets. It'll give you an app and everything like that, so you can buy them all there.
Yeah. So Frank wanted to comment that it was actually pores was the word that we were looking for earlier, not orifices.
Thanks, Frank.
I couldn't think of it either. And then Sergio's saying that he couldn't hear. He's calling you Zed, Dolby. He's saying that he couldn't hear you, but It's okay. He's leaning in. We can hear him a little bit. So besides that, do you guys have anything else that you want to promote that you have coming up, or anything else? Any other projects you guys are working on that you guys want to talk about?
I know on our end, we're working with a couple of these guys here. Again, we got a couple music videos lined up with some local musicians. The band that you heard in the trailer is a local band called Astrophels. We shot a music video for Aphasia. They donated a song to us to use for the credit song. That was a song you heard in that trailer. We shot a music video for it. We're working with a bunch of other local musicians to make some music videos, and our buddy Jim, who is with X Night, is putting together a anthology series, and he asked us to be a part of it and to write something, which is where the coffin prop came in. So we're going to be shooting that sometime in the spring. So that's a couple things that at least we have on our end coming up.
Nice. What about you, Jess? You have anything coming up?
Nothing is set in stone right now.
Anything that you worked on that's coming out that people can be on the lookout for?
Great question. I would love to know the answer to that one if people would get back to me. So that I don't know, other than Aphasia. I have like a table read coming up, and then just working with these guys on some stuff. Jim sent me some stuff too. I'm a little behind, but nothing's set in stone yet.
Okay. And where do you post for people that are like looking to find out some new information and stuff? Is
I'm
it you post
so
on
bad
Instagram?
with social media. I guess my Instagram, but if and when I ever post, it is JPEARS20 at that would be my Instagram handle, but I don't post much. I'm not very good at it.
There you go. And it's also, you should shorten up the name. Just make it, that's just me. So Josh, what about yourself? Do you have anything that's coming out, or anything else that you have in the works that people want to tell people about?
Well, I know I'm still working with these guys on a couple other productions coming up.
Mhm.
Outside of that, I'm writing a series called How to Human, a little short thing that is more likely going to drop later this year. I'm also writing a philosophy course, but that's just my another one of my personal passions. I just like. But outside of that, no, that's pretty much it.
All right. What about you, Dolby?
I was actually in, speaking of X Night, I was in one of the episodes of that anthology Jim's working on called Yesteryears, and I played Charles Manson in that. That's currently on Amazon for rental. It's
nice.
pretty sweet from what I've heard. I haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet, but everyone who's seen it said they liked it a lot. If anyone wants to know anything I'm up to, even though with social media I use it for more humorous reasons than I do professional. But if anyone wants to follow that, it's The Amazing Dolby Fitness, one word. And yeah, if you just want to have some fun and then hear me rant about conspiracy theories and things like that I'll randomly post about, I'm your guy.
Fair enough. And I forgot to ask Josh about his socials and stuff, but I'll ask you, Dolby, since we have you unmuted. So besides the Instagram, do you post anywhere else?
I have a Facebook, but that's only for family.
Okay. Sure enough. I'm going to have to become part of his family now. So Josh, I forget, did I ask you about your socials or no? It's been a very long day. I've had a very long day. Sorry, go ahead.
I feel you. I literally got off work and hopped here.
You were driving home from work at the beginning of the show. Yes.
So my Instagram is _Philly_creative. All lowercase.
There you go. There you go. And then obviously Herks Productions all over the place. And,
everywhere at Herks Productions. That's where we post all of our stuff up. YouTube, we just started rebranding our YouTube channel. So we're kind of working on recurating that to have more original content posted regularly. So keep an eye out on that. Everything, again, is under just Herks Productions.
And now you guys started your own podcast as well.
Yeah, we started a fun little podcast called Kill of the Week, and on Kill of the Week, we sit down with a friend, and they pick a kill from a movie that really affected them, or it's their favorite one, and we kind of go through the film that it's from, the behind the scenes of it, of like how they did it, and then from there it just spawns into random conversations. We have one episode out so far, and it's following Friday the 13th, Part 4. It was the shower nose break scene when the one character gets his nose broken in the shower. But we do have an episode coming up with Kevin where we talk about The Omen.
That's right. I wanted to do something because you gave me a list of what other people were picking. I'm like, even though it's not a kill, it's technically a hanging, so it's a suicide.
And that was a really good episode too. We went through a lot of like deep dive stuff, which was really cool. Like a lot about the production and a lot about like things that were going on with the crew. It was a really knowledgeable, informative episode for sure.
Well, you guys did your homework on that. I definitely didn't do my homework as much. You were schooling me a bit for sure. But no, it was fun. It was a good time, and hopefully you guys continue it and everything. That was it was fun. Have you guys all seen The Omen? Yes, no? You can just nod. Yeah. So you know what I'm talking about. I did it for you. That whole thing. I saw that movie when I was way too young, and it really just like it affected me for real. So, yeah. So every time I see a hanging, thanks, Jess. I'm just kidding. Sergio's saying thanks to everyone. Yeah, and he's saying good job. And so, yeah, hopefully eventually we'll be able to buy physical copies of Aphasia. And, if it goes to streaming, do it after the fact, and do it in a way that you can actually get paid for it,
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's tough out there.
It's inevitable. It is going to wind up on streaming, whether I like it or not, just because of the world.
Yeah.
But it'll get there eventually.
Yeah, but we're going to enjoy kind of bringing it around to different festivals and just be a part of other, bringing it out into the world face to face to see what people actually think and watch their reactions in real time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sergio. I see his comments. That's what's up. I really appreciate that, man.
Yeah, Serge is the man. He knows this. He knows it. But hopefully you guys can bring it to some cons and stuff. That'd be cool. Maybe I don't know. I have to get out of the house. I got to figure out what to do with myself. So I have to go either like a con where you guys are at, or I have to go to the premiere and ruin everything.
Yeah.
Come to Philly. We'll take you around.
We're actually going to be at a con in April?
Yeah.
In Media, Pennsylvania. Our buddy Frank, who was in the comments, is running this little small Comic-Con called the Great Media Comic-Con. It'll be in their second year. Jill will be there pushing her other business, her dessert business, and we'll be there pushing Aphasia with like posters and some props and stuff like that. Yeah. So that'll be in April. We'll be there. We
came out to their first convention and we brought props from Aphasia. We brought Jess's head and an arm and scared children with it, and they had a great time.
Like literally, you were just running around scaring children, just laughing.
We left their face on the table and they played with it, and it was a great time.
And you would like hit the table from underneath and go rah, and it just
that was one thing that we didn't get a chance to talk to because our makeup artist wasn't able to make it.
Yeah, she killed it. She killed it. By the way, everything looked great. It looked so good.
She did like full molds of everyone's heads. Jess especially. She did Josh's face. And she really did it. She really did a great job covering everybody in every type of liquid. And I really hope you guys were okay with all of the shit you went through.
I love Jade so much. She's awesome.
She can make me look like a monster anytime. No, but Jess, you like were a nightmare towards the end of that movie. I was like, God damn, she went to town. Like, I'm like, kudos. Yeah. It seems it. Yeah. And then even the first, like the in the diner, the waitress, the first waitress, I was like, poof. Right off the bat, you're like, you ain't messing around with this one. This is good. But on that note, thanks for watching / listening, and go check out all of these awesome people and all of their awesome stuff. And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Yeah.